It's time to hit some long balls here in the Premier Collegiate League. It's the Home Run Derby here at historic Hicks Field. 6 teams, 12 players, all coming out to Edenton to compete for the home run crown. We've got 3 different representatives of the teams up here tonight. I'm Luke Mealy with the Edenton Steamers, along Hayden Bandel with the Virginia teams in the PCL, and Carter Hill with the Tarboro River Bandits. We've got a lot of action tonight, 3 different rounds, 2 representatives on the field from each team in the Premier Collegiate League. Guys, how excited are you to be here tonight?
I'm pumped. It's great to be here. All of us, the 3 of us here at the same spot, can't be better.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited for, to be inside. Typically, we're outside calling the game if we're coming on the road, so appreciate you letting us in the press box today.
Thank you, Luke.
Of course, what's mine is yours. I got to welcome up my home to you guys a little bit. So we've got 3 rounds tonight, 12 hitters. The first round will be split up into 3 groups of 4 hitters, and the 4 hitters that lead that whole round in home runs will move on to round 2. Then they will be seeded into 4 different seeds. The 1 seed will play the 4 seed, the 2 seed will go against the 3rd seed, and whoever comes out of those matchups will make up the championship in the 3rd and final round here in the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. There's a lot of cool storylines going on tonight. Carter, I'm going to start with you. What are you looking out for?
Jarrett May, of course. He leads the league with 13 homers, hitting .373. He's been phenomenal all year long. Also has 29 RBIs. On top of that, I know you're going to ask me my pick later. I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun. Jarrett May, I'm a little biased, but Jarrett May is going to be my pick. He's got, like I said, 13 homers, which is tied for as many as Norfolk, Suffolk, and Virginia Beach have hit all year long. You cannot pick against Jarrett May.
Hayden, that's a lot to live up to. What are you thinking tonight, thoughts-wise, with the Derby as a whole?
Just overall, I think it's going to be a really fun night. All these guys coming out to hit some baseballs. We do have guys who haven't even hit home runs this season for their respective teams, so I think it will be fun to go and see these guys and show off what they can do, because it's a different game and then in batting practice than in an actual game.
I think that's huge right there what you just said. 3 guys in this Derby with no home runs this season, but it's really just glorified BP, and I think that's where we're going to learn a lot about these guys. It's not about what necessarily happens in these games. You have your pitchers throwing to you, the guys that are going to throw it exactly where you want, but on the flip side, you're going to have to put a little more power into it because you're not facing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So there's a lot to look out for. I'm looking at the field here at historic Hicks Field. Obviously, in left field, if you don't know, we got the Teal Monster out there. It's a 20-foot wall in left field. So for the right-handers, they're going to have to get the ball up, and it's half as high out in right field. So for a left-hander like Tanner Thatch of the Steamers, he's going to have an advantage in that department. So I think that's what I'm looking out for. But Hayden, I want to go to you. You've got 4 teams here that you work for, that you represent. That means 8 hitters as a whole. Who are a few that you're looking out for, and can you tell the viewers a little bit about them?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing Rylan Brown from the Suffolk Voyagers. Rylan's hit 2 home runs this season, one of them right here at historic Hicks that went over the left field wall. He's been very good consistently, especially as of late for the Voyagers. Trey Blow, also of the Voyagers, he was replaced, or he got placed for Benny Spady, who unfortunately is not here. He went to Xavier University of Louisiana, where he just officially transferred over to that school, which is the reason that he's not here. So congrats to Benny. And I'm also looking forward to see Trey Keels. He's more of a contact guy. But like we just said, you don't know. This is batting practice, home run derby. Let's do it. Let's have fun.
And now, Carter, over to you for Tarboro. You gave us a lot of info on Jarrett May. What about Chase Heath, the other representative for the River Bandits?
Well, Chase Heath has kind of come out of nowhere. He quietly has had a fantastic season. He's got 6 homers, 27 RBIs, hitting .393. That's not all. He didn't hit a single home run at school this past season at Central Missouri, a Division II power. He's been phenomenal at the plate and behind the dish. Not even mentioning, he's played all around the field as of late as well, but obviously tonight hitting is the focus. He can go to all fields. He can hit it out everywhere. He had a 2-homer game at historic Hicks Field earlier this year, including a grand slam at the very top of the Teal Monster. You may remember, Luke. So, yeah, Chase Heath is going to be a dark horse. He's a guy that could contend, currently tied for 2nd in the league with homers. So it's going to be a fun night for sure. I think there's a lot of dark horses that could give Jarrett May, someone like that, a run for his money. I think Chase Heath's certainly one of them.
And I like that you mentioned with Chase Heath, he can go to all parts of the park. And I think the guy I'm about to talk about can do the same. Tanner Thatch, he's shown the ability. He's got 6 home runs, tied with Chase Heath for second in the Premier Collegiate League. We've seen a lot of his home runs go to dead center or left center field, so I think Thatch is a guy that is really going to be the best contender to contend with Jarrett May. I think Jarrett May is the favorite going into tonight. But another guy from the Steamers to watch out for is Jeremiah Boyd, going to Middle Tennessee State University this next year. And Jeremiah's got 4 home runs this season, tied for second best on the Steamers. And it's funny, in games, you don't really see a lot of his home run pop. He's squeaked a couple into that corner here in historic Hicks Field. But what I was told by assistant coach Ashton Roy, who throws BP to the Steamers very often, he said that Jeremiah's the type of guy that can turn it on when he has to. You don't always see the pop, but when he wants to get going, he can. And Jeremiah won the little mini derby the Steamers held to get that final spot of the 2 in the home run derby. So I think Jeremiah is going to be another guy I'm excited to watch out for.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun overall. I'm also looking to see Warren Bailey. I did mention to Warren that he's hit a couple home runs here. Not in this season, but he has been wanting to get going here, and he has the opportunity here tonight. I'm also looking, so now I'm going to, I guess, jump the gun. I'm unbiased. I'm going to take Jarrett May just because I was in Tarboro last week, and they were taking BP before the game, and Jarrett May was in that last group of BP. They each had 5 swings in their 3 rounds, and in those 15 swings, May hit 7 balls over the fence.
Hayden, let me tell you, it's a daily occurrence. It's a daily occurrence.
It's insane. Like every time I watch him, he's one of the best baseball players, unprofessional, that I've laid my 2 eyes on.
Yeah, I guess if we're going with our winners right now, you guys with Jarrett May, I'm going with the next best guy in my eyes, Tanner Thatch. And like Carter, I have a little bit of bias, but I think Tanner Thatch plays to some of the things I mentioned about the fields. He's one of the few lefties in this derby, so he's got that lower wall out in right field where he pulls a lot of home runs. But
and it's
also
2 feet shorter as well down the right field line than left.
Exactly, 298 to the right field corner. And another advantage I think Thatch has, and with these timed rounds, you're going to try and get a lot more swings in as opposed to the other version of the derby where there's outs, so you're going to take a lot more pitches, try and get the perfect pitch. In a timed round, you're going to be swinging a lot more. I think Thatch has the ability to take balls the other way, like you mentioned with Chase Heath. So if he's not getting the pitches he wants, but he's got to swing at a bunch of pitches late in the round, I think he has the ability to go the other way. So Thatch is my choice. You guys have Jarrett May. I have one last question. We have 3 different groups to start round 1 here in the Derby. Do you guys have a favorite group that you're looking forward to seeing tonight?
I think you got to look for group number 3. You got, of course, Jarrett May, and then you have Tanner Thatch in there as well. You mentioned Tanner Thatch. He's got 6 homers on the summer, but he's missed a considerable amount of time going to UNC Wilmington, so that number is a little bit skewed. I think, like you mentioned, Tanner Thatch is a very fun player to watch. A recent 18th round draft pick by the San Francisco Giants. He's a phenomenal player to watch. So he's going to be fun to watch. And you mentioned it. The short porch in right field, yeah, it's 298, as Hayden alluded to, but also in right center field, too. Not saying it's easy to hit it out there, but you don't have to necessarily get a hold of one to clear the wall. So he's going to be a dark horse to win this one, if you can even call him that, because like you mentioned, he's your pick to win it. Tanner Thatch is a phenomenal baseball player. Jarrett May has done a really good job, obviously, hitting the ball out all year long. So that group number 3 for me is going to be really fun.
Now, Hayden, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also, like Carter, looking forward to watching group number 3. Aside from Jarrett May and Tanner Thatch, I also have Warren Bailey in it. Warren leads all of the Virginia teams that I cover this summer with 4 home runs. 3rd place is Benny Spady, of course not here. He's hit 3 home runs in the last 3 games, by the way. But Warren, he has a lot of pop. He's also a guy that doesn't strike out a lot for Greenbrier. He's hitting .323 on the year. So he's a guy kind of like Jarrett May where the amount of home runs that he's hitting, he shouldn't have as high as a batting average as he does. But that's definitely that 4-man group with Feather, Thatch, Bailey, and May. It's going to be something special to watch at the end of the first round.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And I know we've got a lot of fans coming in from all the teams here, so thank you so much for joining us on the Steamers YouTube channel for tonight's Derby. The same place you'll find tomorrow night's All-Star game here at historic Hicks Field in Edenton. And I think with all these fans, it's good that we have so many different biases represented. Carter, myself, and Hayden have already hit a little bit of bias on each of our teams, but that's what it's all a part of. And we're going to have a lot of different voices on this broadcast in round 1, group 1. I'll be on with 2 Steamers, so don't miss that if you're a Steamers fan. In round 2, it's going to be me and Hayden because it'll be 4 hitters from Virginia in round 1, group 2. And round 1, group 3, Carter and I will be here to bring things home for that round. And then for round 2 in the championship. We'll just see who's in it and see how far we can go for the rest of the night. But thank you again, both of you, for joining me. Carter Hill
Absolutely.
from Tarboro.
Yes,
Hayden
thank
Van
you
Delft
for
from
having
the
me.
Virginia teams. I'm Luke Mealy. The Derby is just about ready to get underway at 7 p.m. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to historic Hicksfield for the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. 6 teams, 12 players representing 2 teams, 2 players from each team. I'm Luke Mealy and welcome back. I've got 2 guys up here with me from the Edenton Steamers as we're set to begin round 1. Round 1, Group 1 of this derby. Houston Wright and Tate Abbott of the Steamers. Houston, you did this back in 2020. How's it feel to be out here again?
It feels good. It feels good. I know what these guys are going through, and I know there's a lot of pressure in this, but all you got to do is stay calm, and you will start launching balls. So we're good. We're good. They're all good.
And Tate, we had a mini derby here a couple of days ago to try and get in. You were crushing the ball at the beginning of that derby, right off the scoreboard out in right field. What do you think the key is going to be for some of these guys to get into a rhythm? Because it's hard to just switch your normal swing and go into home run mode.
Yeah, I mean, they have a different format than we did. They get a minute and 30 seconds, so a lot of pressure's on the BP thrower, honestly, to give them good pitches to swing at. And you got to swing at the good pitches and not waste swings because you'll get real tired real fast.
And so we've got Group 1 of Round 1 right now. Chase Heath from the Tarboro River Bandits will lead things off. He's got his head coach, Grant Crosby, throwing to him. There will be 12 guys going in Round 1, and the best 4 that come out of this round will move on to Round 2. So Heath is going right now. The timer has started. He's got a minute and 30 seconds, as every single hitter will have. And once again, I was talking about this pregame. The righties might be at a bit of a disadvantage here in this derby because
looks like there's one right there.
the high wall out in left field, he got it over. It's 20 feet high out there in left field. The Teal Monsters. Chase Heath's got one on the board.
Another one.
He's rocking them out right now. Chase Heath, one of 2 River Bandits in the derby so far. That'll be seen tonight. Jarrett May, the other. He'll be the final hitter here in Round 1. And Houston, what are some of your memories from going in this derby back in 2020?
Just the excitement and stuff going through it. You just got to lock in. It's all on your BP thrower, him hitting your spots. You know which zones are your hot zones. And the thing is, if he can hit that consistently, you will start rolling. So we'll see how everybody does tonight.
And Chase Heath's the guy we've seen hit some home runs against the Steamers as well. I mean, Tate, I think we all know how good Jarrett May is, but would you agree that Chase Heath's one of the better hitters in this league when it comes to the long ball?
I would have to agree with that statement. Yeah, he's a pure hitter. He doesn't swing at bad pitches. He puts himself in good counts. He's an all-around good hitter.
Down to the final 10 seconds for Chase Heath as we'll get his home run count in just a second.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Sends one more high up there as that's the end of the 90 seconds. That one's out of here. A buzzer beater for Chase Heath. We'll get the total count in a few seconds. But it looked like a good start and one of Grant Crosby's 2 guys he's throwing to tonight. 3 home runs for Chase Heath to start the night from Tarboro. And in 90 seconds, it goes quick. And without a timeout, you got to lock in, swing at a lot of different pitches. So I think 3 is a solid number in Round 1. Not sure if it'll get us all the way there.
Looks like we had a little confusion. They're saying he hit 5.
Yeah, some of the River Bandits got him for 5. Our GM Tyler Russell down there, he's supposed to be the main guy keeping count. Tyler will give us an update, and Jeremiah Boyd showing us 4.
4.
Looks like 4 is the number that Chase Heath is going to end with here in Round 1. Remember, the top 4 guys out of the 12 hitting in this first round will move on to Round 2. So now we've got our first player throwing tonight. Blake Gibson throwing for Jeremiah Boyd. And you guys have done some home run derbies in your time. Have you ever had a teammate throwing to you?
Never.
I have not, no. Always coaches.
Always coaches. This is a first, but Gibby's got some good BP.
Yeah, he's got great
Really good.
BP.
Really good. Really good.
And that's interesting to me because he's a guy that obviously is always trying to make guys miss.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now he wants to put
It's
it right
weird,
on the
yeah.
barrel. But I guess as a pitcher, he can put it where he wants more than most
yeah.
guys can.
Gibby's got some firm BP. It's right there, and hopefully Jerry can get on a roll and take advantage of this thing. So we will see.
Here's a fan favorite, Jeremiah Boyd.
Gives a
Definitely
little
fan
fist bump
favorite.
to us before he gets things going. Jeremiah tied for second on the Steamers with 4 home runs. Jared Beebe just tied him last night with his 4th of the season. But Jeremiah won that little derby we had here a couple of afternoons ago. He clinched his spot here in the Derby alongside Tanner Thatch. So he's ready to go with Blake Gibson as his pitcher. 4 is the number to beat for Boyd. So Jeremiah, I think a lot of his power is pull, too. I don't think he's going to go the opposite way for really any of his home runs. We've seen him pull all 4 of them so far this season.
Yeah, Jerry's got a lot of power in his swing. Hopefully puts up a good number for us.
He's got one out to center field, and that one's out. So Jeremiah Boyd's on the board here in round 1. Gibson looks pretty locked in as well. He's throwing him right across. Do you think there's a big mental part of this as well, with if you pop a couple up trying to lock back in, especially with just 90 seconds to hit?
Yeah, for sure. Without a doubt.
Now, Houston, I know you've got some friends out there in left field shagging the balls. How do you think they're doing so far?
They're probably like, what is going on right now? But they know Jerry's a very good hitter. They've seen him play all year, so they're sitting on the top of the wall, and if he gets them out, he gets them out. Jerry's got a lot of power.
He's locking in.
He's good.
That's a couple over the left field fence. He's turning it on now.
Jerry's got hot. He's good.
That one's out to the deepest part of the park and nearly out of here for Boyd. I couldn't tell if it hit the wall.
Might have got out of there.
But Jeremiah.
Jared Beebe behind the dish catching for us.
Come on, Jerry!
4 more seconds for Jeremiah. Boyd tries to crush the last one he sees. A good round for Jeremiah Boyd. Coming into tonight, I think Tanner Thatch was the guy that people were thinking would be second to Jarrett May, but Jeremiah Boyd, what a show here in round 1.
That was a great round. Ready to see what the home run
7 home runs for Jeremiah Boyd.
Tough to beat.
3 more than Chase Heath in 90 seconds. That's a good number to have. And again, you mentioned Jared Beebe behind the plate right now for the Derby. It's got to be hot back there. He's already caught for a couple of guys.
Oh, yeah, Jerry.
He looks like a natural, though.
He really does. Do you know if he's going for all 12, if he's going to be out here the whole time? Or?
I don't know. Coach Roy asked in our group chat if anyone wanted to catch, and he volunteered for it, so we'll see. Hopefully he has a little bit of relief. It's going to be hot back there.
That's a team player stepping up. And now,
it is.
coming up for the Virginia Beach Sea Dogs, it'll be Bryce Lane out of Patrick Henry Community College. He'll have Chris Dodolo was supposed to be the thrower, but it looks like he's got a different pitcher out there for his round. So once again, Chase Heath started the round off with 4 home runs. Jeremiah Boyd went second with 7. And remember, out of the 12 hitters in round 1, the top 4 move on to round number 2. So Lane is the 3rd hitter of the night here at Historic Hicks Field. Lane with a couple home runs to his name this season. And now I got to ask you guys, in one of these types of scenarios where you got 12 guys, would you rather be near the front and not really know what you have to beat, or would you rather be at the end and know what you got to go for?
Personally, I'd rather be in the front so I can set the number for it to get beat. Because I feel like if I hit later in the round, I'll have that number in my head the whole time and maybe mess myself up a little bit.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with say you want to set the number for everybody, and you know how many you can hit and how many everybody else can hit. So if somebody hits that number, you can keep going and going and going. So I would say you would be the first one to hit and set the number high for everybody else so you can put the pressure on everybody else.
And Lane, we saw him crush one out over that teal monster in left field. He still trying to get into a rhythm. I think that's one of the biggest parts of this. We saw Jeremiah, once he got 1, he started to get 2 and 3 and 4. I think it's all about getting into that mental and physical rhythm as a hitter.
Groove, and I feel like everything's getting out of there at that point.
Sure.
So Bryce Lane still trying to catch up to Chase Heath, who is in second right now with 4 home runs. Lane, the first of 2 Virginia Beach Sea Dogs we'll see out there tonight. Looks like he got a hole with that one with 10 seconds left here in round number 1 for Lane. Trying to go straightaway center out towards the 350 mark. It's a quick pitch there. You're supposed to wait until these hit the ground is what the ruling is. Maybe that's where the decision on the scores gets messed up a little. I know Tyler told me he's going to be on it, and there's 3 in the round for Bryce Lane. Once again, thank you to everyone joining us tonight on the Edenton Steamers YouTube channel for the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. I'm Luke Mealy, the voice of the Edenton Steamers, alongside Tate Abbott and Houston Wright, two of the Edenton Steamers here to take in the Derby today. There's a lot of Steamers here tonight, right?
Oh yeah, I think everyone's out here for the most part.
A lot of guys in the dugout. Obviously, Blake Gibson on the mound for Jeremiah Boyd.
Oh, yeah.
I think I see some in the outfield, so everyone's certainly representing the team tonight. Chris Morris is up here in the booth with us. We don't have another microphone, but he is representing the Steamers tonight in the press box.
Yeah, all the Edenton Steamers, we're all big team guys, so we're all going to be out here supporting each other no matter what it is. And I can't wait to watch everybody tomorrow night playing the All-Star game. I've been there in 2020, but I know how all their feelings are going to be, and I feel like they're going to be all right. And they're all good, great players. Pitchers on the mound, hitters, they're all studs. So I can't wait to watch them play.
Well, tomorrow's going to be a great night. The North versus the South is how the All-Star game is being played. The North being the 4 teams from Virginia, and then the South being Tarboro and Edenton. And those are the 2 teams at the top of the standings in the PCL. So some people are saying that it could be a bit lopsided, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. Tate, you're one of 14 All-Star Steamers this season. How did it feel when you got the call that you're going to be in this game?
It felt really good. I really wanted it. I didn't have the best year in school ball, so All-Star game proved myself that I can still hang in the game,
Yeah, definitely. You've proven it so far this summer. We've got our 4th hitter up to the plate in round 1. The final hitter of Group 1, it's Trey Blow from the Suffolk Voyagers. Blow without a home run this season, but we talked about it earlier. It's a little bit different, and it's all about how you hit in BP in these 90 seconds here in round 1. So Blow's
on a laser show.
He has laser show.
Yeah, Blow's hitting the ball well, not over the fence, but he does hit .342 this season. A lot of really solid overall hitters in this Derby. A lot of guys that hit over 300 that you would normally think you're not looking for high average guys, you're looking for high bomb guys, but in this league it seems like those guys are the same.
Right.
30 seconds.
So Blow, he's got Chris Dodolo, the head coach of the Norfolk Redbirds, out there. He's slated to pitch for 2 other guys in this round, so we'll see if his arm gets tired, and we'll see if he plays any favorites here. Not throwing to one of his players in round 1, as there's another rocket from Blow. It's not going to get out of here. So Blow now under 30 seconds here in round 1, the final hitter in Group 1. The top 4 hitters out of the 12 here in round 1 will move on to round 2. They all get, so that one's hit high out there to left field. It
Yep, that one got out.
got out of there. He's got another one on the way now.
Wow.
Couple of big home runs to end the round for Trey Blow.
All right, if you have signed up for the water balloon toss, the game, please get over there.
And Blow's going to end with 4 home runs in the round, tying Chase Heath. So that'll do it for round 1, Group 1 here in the Home Run Derby. We saw Chase Heath and Trey Blow each with 4 apiece. Bryce Lane with 3, and Jeremiah Boyd, the Steamer, led the way with 7 in round 1, Group 1. We're going to take a short break before we come back with round 1, Group 2, and another set of voices here on the broadcast. Houston, Tate, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, we will be right back with the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. Hello and welcome back to the where we just had our first group of round 1. Jeremiah Boyd led that group with 7. Wes Bonnie's up to lead things off here in group number 2 in round 1. I'm Luke Mealy alongside Hayden Bandel, the guy who's seen all the Virginia teams all season. Hayden, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on again. Wes Bonnie, he's one of those guys that we mentioned in our pregame, still without a home run this season for the Redbirds. He's one of 3 guys. He's being pitched to his head coach of the Redbirds, Chris Dodolo. This is the second straight batter that Dodolo is throwing to, so it's kind of interesting to see as we progress here how his arm continues to stay healthy or not throughout the duration of the Derby. He was supposed to pitch to 4 guys at the start of it, but Rylan Brown and now Rylan Brown is going to be pitched to one of his former coaches, along with Bryce Lane, who we just saw.
Yep, we saw Bryce Lane have someone else. So moving through this round is Bonnie. We've seen him take advantage. There's a short porch in the corner in left field. We got the 20-foot teal monster out there in left, but right near that foul pole is where you can sneak a couple in. We've already seen Bonnie hit 1 over that scoreboard. So we'll see how many he's got left. You mentioned it, Hayden. One of 3 guys without a home run in the regular season, but it's a whole nother animal. I was just talking with Tate, Abbott, and Houston Wright from the Steamers, and they agreed. It's just how you hit in BP is really how you're going to come out of this one.
Yeah. So that's all for Wes Bonnie. I think he hit, what was 3 home runs for Bonnie.
Solid number. So we've got the top 4 of the 12 guys in this first round move on to round 2. Jeremiah Boyd right now leads the way with 7. I think he's
That's
a
good
lock.
number.
Now,
That's a
Chase
number.
Heath is in second with 4. Bryce Lane and Wes Bonnie each with 3, tied for 4th, and Trey Blow with 2. So right now, Bonnie and Lane tied for that final spot. We're not near a tiebreaker yet. We've still got a lot more guys to hit, but it's something to watch out for. We do have tiebreaker scenarios in place. In round 1, a tiebreaker would be the guys get 10 swings each, and whoever gets the highest number of homers will advance.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you just didn't see it on your screen back at home, I was the guy in the blue shirt filming all the players right behind home plate, along with Carter, who's also down there. And just watching the guys, they got really tired quickly in that minute and 30 seconds. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of time, as Quincy Scipio of the Greenbrier Knights is being pitched to by his teammate Max Lucas. Actually, in fact, Max was asked by his head coach, Chuck Slaughter, if he wanted to participate in the Derby. Max declined the offer, and he told me the second that he said no, he regretted it. So now he's out here pitching to Quincy.
Hey, he's a team guy. Had that regretted out about not being in it, but he was still out here to help his teammate as Scipio sends one long foul. Quincy Scipio, the first Greenbrier Knight hitting of the night here in the Derby. One of 2 Greenbrier guys here, with Warren Bailey being the other. So I asked this a bit ago to Tate and Houston. Would you rather be at the front of this Derby or the end? So where at the end you know what you got to hit, and at the front you don't know what you got to hit, you're kind of just swinging.
That's the $1 million question, huh? Because when you're going first, you can put the pressure on the other guys. But then if you don't put the pressure on and you're on the back end of it, you can kind of sit back and say, okay, all I need is X amount of home runs to move on into the next round. So I think I would much rather the latter and know how many home runs I need to hit so that I can have that number in my head rather than just trying to apply that pressure.
I agree. It's certainly a tough one. Tate said that sometimes it can almost work the other way. There's more pressure knowing the number you got to hit and you're trying to work to that number, but I agree. It's a tough question as the round wraps up for Quincy Scipio.
So Rylan Brown is going to be the next hitter. Scipio had 3 home runs, so that ties him with Wes Bonnie and Bryce Lane.
3 guys for that 4th and 5.
boy.
Could you imagine if we have a 3 or 4 guy tiebreaker to wrap this thing up?
That would be awesome.
Because right now, remember, it is the top 4 of the 12 guys. We'll move on to round 2, and then they'll get seeded as 4 guys from there. But once again, Jeremiah Boyd leading the way with 7. Chase Heath in second with 4. They're both, as of now, locked in. And Bryce Lane, West Bonnie, Quincy Scipio all with 3. And now it's time for Rylan Brown to hit the plate. The second Suffolk Voyager tonight is Hayden. You almost brought him up here, but he had to go hit in this round.
I know. I wanted to bring him up here. I wanted to ask him what he was thinking mentally. What's his game plan? But I think he's gonna join us afterwards, maybe in the next group.
For sure, for sure. We will definitely get Rylan Brown up here at some point. Rylan, a couple of home runs this season. And you mentioned it. He was initially thought to be pitched to by head coach Dodolo of the Redbirds. Now he's got one of his former coaches out there with him.
That's good for Dodolo. You didn't want to throw to 4 guys. If I was the 4th guy, because he was originally slated to pitch to Bryce Lane, Trey Blow, West Bonnie, who went 1, 2, 3 back to back to back. He was going to get a break with Quincy Scipio, and then he was going to go right back in to face Rylan Brown. So I think it's an advantage for Rylan that he doesn't have Dodolo pitching to him as he shoots one deep to left.
He's on a bit of a roll right
he is
now.
On a tear.
He's got a couple, and I mentioned it to a couple other guys. Hayden, we were out on the track earlier. That's a 20-foot wall out there in left field. Do you remember what it's called?
It's called the Teal Monster.
Yes, it is, the Teal Monster. And
that
Rylan,
one might go over.
That's a hard-hit ball. He's got it over. He's on fire right now.
Oh, my.
Trying to represent the Suffolk Voyagers.
He's going to want to come up here.
Wow, he is on a bit of a tear right now. And remember, if he gets over 3, then he automatically becomes in that 3rd spot because Jeremiah Boyd at 7, Chase Heath with 4 is in 2nd place. We've already got 3 guys with 3. We don't have the exact number right now, but as the clock winds down, the final few seconds for Brown, and it felt like a pretty good round for Rylan Brown.
It definitely did. Rylan already hit 1 home run here in Edenton in the regular season for the Voyagers in what was a close contest. I recall that game, his 2-run homer in that game.
8 home runs for Rylan Brown. He now leads in the first round. What a show.
He had a monster round. He's going to want to come up here and talk to you, I bet.
Rylan Brown, 8 home runs. He currently leads the pack. And it's almost safe to assume that he'd make it in now to the next round, but we're not quite sure. We know the top 4. Now, something to watch out for here. Travis Hamrick out now catching from the Edenton Steamers. We saw Jared Beebe out there earlier from the Steamers catching. The Steamers providing the catchers for tonight. And Tate and Houston told me that assistant coach Ashton Roy texted the group chat and said, hey, we need catchers. Who's going to step up? And Jared stepped up, and now Travis is out there as well.
That's funny. That's funny that you say that about the catchers, because when the Sea Dogs were down here the other night, Jordan Daddio, who started the game at catcher, he was like, man, I just need a break from all this catching. So he called his teammate and college teammate as well outside of the Virginia Beach Sea Dogs, Danny Padilla, who's a relief pitcher. And Danny was like, dude, I'll catch for you, no problem. Of course, Danny didn't end up catching, but he did go out and play left field. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did notice
Danny
that.
Padilla was out in left field. As Trey Keels just threw his hat off and sent one deep out over to left.
Hayden, it was the hat's fault. It was the hat. Trey Keels,
that must have been it.
The second Virginia Beach Sea Dog to hit tonight. Keels with no home runs this season, as one of his former coaches pitching to him tonight. As Keels, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to hit at least 3 to stay eligible for that round 2 to at least get into that tiebreaker, because right now the guys with 3 are all in a tiebreaker for that 4th and final spot in round number 1. But remember, Keels is the 8th hitter. We still got 12 guys coming here tonight in round 1. 2 representatives from each team in the PCL. It's been a lot of fun so far. The first of 2 nights with all-star festivities at Historic Hicks Field. The all-star game here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Hayden, will you be here for that one?
Of course I will, Luke. I will be here. And speaking of the hat that Keels just threw off, I don't know if you saw when Trey Blow was batting, his sunglasses fell off. They landed right onto home plate, and he just didn't touch it. So as his pitches were being thrown to him, Blow was just hitting away with the sunglasses just sitting on home plate. It just landed right there.
So that'll wrap up the round for Trey Keels. We're yet to get a final number, but Keels trying to keep his eligibility to move on to round 2. So it's 6 home runs for Trey Keels. That puts him in 3rd now. So after the first 2 groups in round 1, it is Rylan Brown in the lead with 8, Jeremiah Boyd in 2nd with 7, Trey Keels in 3rd with 6, and Chase Heath holding the 4th and final spot with 4. Hayden, thank you so much for joining me. It's not the last we'll hear from you tonight, but that'll do it for Group 2 in round 1.
Yes, thank you, Luke. Thanks for having me, and have fun with Rylan Brown. He's a fun guy to talk to.
I'm excited to meet him. So, Hayden, thank you very much. We'll be right back in just a moment for Group 3, the final 4 hitters of round 1 in the Home Run Derby. Hello and welcome back to Historic Hicks Field for the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. I'm Luke Milai, and I've got another new voice on the broadcast. You heard him in the pregame. Carter Hill, the voice of the Tarboro River Bandits, up here to join me in Group 3 of Round 1. Carter, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a fun night so far. The Home Run Derby, I think, is just one of the best events in baseball, and to see it here is really, really cool.
So now, Carter, here's what the standings are now. We've got 12 hitters in this round. The top 4 move on to round 2. Right now, Rylan Brown of the Suffolk Voyagers is in 1st with 8. Jeremiah Boyd of the Steamers is in 2nd with 7. Trey Keels of the Virginia Beach Sea Dogs with 6. And Chase Heath from the River Bandits with 4. So I like that we got 4 different teams represented in our top 4. But we've got a big group slated here to wrap up round 1.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to see Tanner Thatch. We're going to see Jarrett May. But how about Rylan Brown? 8 home runs out of nowhere, kid from the Suffolk Voyagers. So far this season, only has 2 home runs. He's hitting .324, but I was talking to Chase Heath there just a minute ago, and he said it doesn't matter. Sometimes BP is completely different, and it was right there.
So now we've got Aidan Feather, our second Norfolk Redbird of the night, and something I think's pretty cool. He's got his dad out throwing to him tonight, Kevin Feather.
Yeah, it's like Bryce Harper style, right?
Exactly.
Bryce had his dad come out there. He won a home
pretty
run
well
derby back in 2018, his last season with the Nationals. So pretty cool right here.
We'll see if he has the same effect. Feather with 1 home run for the Redbirds this season, but like you just mentioned, and like most of the guys that have been on here tonight have mentioned, it's all about really how you hit in BP, what your home run hitting style's like. There's a lot more that goes into the Derby than real hitting in the games.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And that's why we're seeing a kid like Aidan Feather make the field. Kid out of Chowan University, like you said, just has 1 homer this year, a .238 average. But he's a kid that has the power to hit it out. You know, we've seen a couple already so far, and be interesting to see how the rest of it pans out.
And I think I've been impressed with how well the righties have handled that teal monster in left field. The 20-foot wall, they clear it pretty well. I've seen a couple hit a top edge of the wall, but otherwise I think all these guys have been very good.
Even Wes Bonney out of the Norfolk Redbirds has not had a homer all year long. He hit 2 over the teal monster out there. Yeah, you know, it's tough to hit it over there, but it seems to have not really been a problem so far. So it'll be interesting with guys like Tanner Thatch is a lefty, but he can go the other way. Then, of course, Jarrett May, how they fare with it as well.
And you know what I'm really looking forward to when Tanner Thatch comes to the plate? All the kids in left field that are shagging, sprinting over to right field to get in the line for Tanner Thatch. So that'll wrap up the round for Aidan Feather. We're about to get a final count. Once again, he has to hit at least 4 to be recognized in the tiebreaker and move on to round 2. 4th is 4 home runs, marks the 4th and final spot here in round 1. And with Feather being the 8th hitter and the 9th hitter, and he tallies 4. So Feather now tied with Chase Heath from the River Bandits
So
for the
Bryce
fourth
Lane,
and final
Trey
spot.
Blow, Wes Bonney, and Quincy Scipio all have been eliminated. So they are done. Jarrett May and Tanner Thatcher still to come. So right now, I believe if you top 4, you're moving on. Is that correct?
Yes, top 4 move
If you
on
top
after
4,
round
you're-
1.
Well, if you top the number 4.
Yes,
you're
yes.
moving
If you
on.
go
Okay.
over number
Yep,
4,
yep.
yes. Top
There we go.
4, and you literally top 4.
And Tanner Thatch and Jarrett May are 2 of the guys that are seen as some of the favorites here. So I would not be comfortable having a 4 next to your number right now, but you never know. BP is completely different, like we just touched on.
We'll see. So Tanner told me he participated in a home run derby, and I asked him, I said, Tanner, when was that? And he said 6 years ago. But he told me he made it to the final, and he actually, his words, he said he choked in the final, couldn't bring it home. So we'll see if he has better luck tonight. Tanner hasn't been here for the whole middle of this week at UNC Wilmington. You mentioned he was drafted by the San Francisco Giants in the 18th round. So Tanner with a lot on his mind, but he's out here tonight in the home run derby, and he's a great hitter. So I think we're going to see a lot of doubles being hit as he is right now, but let's see if he can start getting him over the fence.
Well, and there may be one right there. Yeah, the ball just jumps off of his bat. We talked about it in BP the other day in Tarboro. He's one of those guys you watch hitting BP, and you're like, man, this kid is special the way the ball just jumps off. And the exit below as well. Obviously, we don't have that number, but you can guesstimate it's a little bit different than the rest of the field here.
And Tanner's rocking a bunch to the wall, still yet to get one over. Remember, just 90 seconds here in round 1 of the Derby as he looks like he might have got that one. It's deep to right, and that one's out of here. So Thatch is definitely on the board. He has to get at least 4 to stay alive.
And another cool thing about Tanner Thatch, we were talking about it just a minute ago with Aidan Feather, but also his uncle and high school head coach, Justin Robertson, is throwing to him today. So another one of those family connection things that really makes baseball as cool as it is.
Exactly. Baseball is the only sport where you're ever going to see family members playing together and making a real line of it.
Yeah, I don't think in the NBA you're going to see your dad throw up an alley-oop in the dunk contest or try to help you make some threes. Maybe in the backyard, but yeah, it's a little bit different.
So I think Thatch has to heat up a little bit here down the stretch. I don't think he's gotten a ton. He's, like I mentioned, he hits them to all fields. But it could be hurting him right now. I don't know if you can see a couple steamers out there in the wall in left center field. I haven't noticed them just yet. So Tanner's last swing goes right back into the screen. He needed at least 4 to have a tiebreaker chance to get into round 2. Remember, Jarrett May still to hit.
We got 5.
Tanner Thatch with 5, so now he holds the 4th and final spot.
So that will eliminate both Aidan Feather and Chase Heath from semifinal contention. And as of now, let's see. So Tanner Thatch, Trey Keels, Rylan Brown, and Jeremiah Boyd would advance. We still have Warren Bailey and, of course, Jarrett May still to go. So Tanner Thatch can't be comfortable.
No, by no means.
By no means comfortable. You know, if you're Rylan Brown, you're feeling pretty good. 8 home runs. Jeremiah Boyd, 7, you're feeling good as well. Trey Keels, of course, you're holding on. But both of these guys have to top 5, I believe.
Yes, to knock Thatch out. If they hit 5, they can go to a tiebreaker at the end of this round.
Okay, so if Bailey or May both hit 5,
that would be fun.
Either one of them, Trey Keels is guaranteed to move on.
Yes.
So at this point, Rylan Brown has clinched a spot into the next round.
At this point, yes. As that one is hit into the air, as we're starting things off with Warren Bailey. We've seen a couple guys do this now. After their first couple swings, they throw the hat off. It's the hat. It's the hat's fault.
What Jeremiah Boyd said beforehand, too, he was like, there's no way I can hit with a hat on. And I've seen him in BP. He never hits with a hat on. So maybe it's just one of those things where maybe it gets in their head. Maybe they just feel like it's a distraction. But it's interesting to note for sure.
You know what? Maybe that's a sign. Maybe guys shouldn't be wearing helmets when they're up at the plate. Maybe it's too distracting. Is that a stretch? Is that a stretch?
Maybe a stretch.
As that one is deep from Bailey. I think he got it out of here. Bailey's definitely got a few on the board already. Quickly in this first round. Again, he needs 5. He's the second member of the Greenbrier Knights to hit here in round number 1.
And Bailey's had a good year for Greenbrier. 4 homers, 17 RBIs, a .323 average. So he's another dark horse that could potentially make some noise here as well.
As we just flip the lights on here at Historic Hicks Field. Not sure how long the Derby will go. I was watching the one from a couple of years ago here, and those hitters actually got 3 minutes in the first
Really?
round each. That's a long
How many
time.
participants?
I think it was a few less because we
Okay.
got 6 teams here. I think there might have only been 4 teams
Different
back
league at the
then.
time, for
Different
sure.
league
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time. But right now, Bailey's round is close to wrapping up. The final few swings. Here's the last one for Bailey. So Warren Bailey, remember, he needs 5 to at least tie Tanner Thatch for that final spot.
Let's see, what do we got?
The final count for Warren Bailey is still to be decided.
Yeah, 4 with that.
4 for Warren Bailey.
So we got 4 for Warren Bailey, so he is done as well.
So Warren Bailey is officially out as Tanner Thatch once again holds that 4th spot with 5. And wow, talk about pressure.
Talk to
Jarrett May.
Yeah, so Jarrett May, if he hits 5, he at least stays alive for a swing off. If he tops 5, Tanner Thatch is done. And it will be May, Trey Keels, Jeremiah Boyd, and Rylan Brown. So it's down to 5 at this point.
Man, this is a lot of fun. You know, biasedly, I think I almost want him to hit 5. So we get a swing off with Jarrett May and Tanner Thatch. What could have been the title game. We could get a little bit of a matchup between them here in round 1.
So Jarrett May, numbers on this year. The league leader in homers with 29 RBIs, a 373 average. I mean, that is ridiculous. He's had 78 at-bats. 13 of them have gone for homers. He's also coming off a year ago where he won the ABCCL Home Run Derby, a summer league up in his home state of New Jersey. Jarrett's hit 3 multi-home run games this year. But 12 of his 13 home runs have come in Tarboro, and that 13th came in Norfolk. So one of the few things he has not done this year has hit a home run in Edenton. So.
Now, Carter, I do want you to repeat the one stat you mentioned in the pregame about Jarrett May compared to the teams in this league. That's one of my favorite
here's why
stats.
Jarrett May's my pick. He's hit 13 homers this year. It leads the league again. Norfolk, Suffolk, and Virginia Beach have combined for 13 home runs as a team.
That's unbelievable. That's half the league.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good reason.
Jarrett May, again, you mentioned his 13 home runs leads the league. That's more than double anybody else. Chase Heath and Tanner Thatch in second in the league with 6 apiece. So.
And he hit one last night that was estimated at 460 feet in Tarboro in the win over the Edenton Steamers.
And May, we talked about it a couple times. This is a lot about your BP swing, and May is one of those guys who just crushes the ball in BP and hits a lot of home runs. Right now, he finally gets a lift under that one. I think once you start to get into a rhythm, that's when it's going to heat up for him.
And Jarrett, you know, he could be a little over anxious as well, but like I said, he won a home run derby a year ago. He's done this before. His parents are in attendance here this evening, so maybe a little pressure, but that might be number 2. When a ball jumps off his bat, you pretty much know it's gone.
And he had that one the opposite way. I wasn't sure if you saw. He's heating up now. Remember, 5 is the number to beat for that 4th and final spot. If he hits 5, he'll tie Tanner Thatch, who holds the 4th spot. Right now, the 4 best hitters from the 12 in round 1 move on to round 2. May a lot of line drives, and I would not want to be a kid out there in the outfield when Jarrett May's swinging
there's
away.
another one right there. No doubter to the left. Yeah, Jarrett just trying to elevate the ball a little bit more. Don't have a count right now. What do you have? There's another one.
I don't have a count, but I think he's just about there, if not past it.
I think he may be at 5. We'll
So
see. There may
he's
be number
crushing
6.
the ball. This teal monster means nothing for the elevation that Jarrett May puts on baseballs.
No, absolutely not. But he doesn't know the total, so he wants to be safe and continue to rack up those homers.
3 seconds left for May. He's got one more swing. He sends it high in the air out to center field. It's not going to get out. We'll see how much that last swing meant for May. He needed 5 to tie Thatch. If he beats 5, he's automatically in that round.
What do you have?
From here, it looked like I saw 6 signaled on the field.
I got 6.
6 is the final count, and Jarrett May has moved on to round 2 in the home run derby. So here's your slot for round number 2. It'll be Rylan Brown as the 1 seed. He'll go against the 4 seed, which is Jarrett May, or Trey Keels, actually. They're tied with 6 apiece. Not sure how that 4 seed will be decided.
They may do a tiebreaker based on regular season homers.
But we do know that Jeremiah Boyd is the 2nd seed, so he'll be also in round 2 there. So Keels and May with 6 apiece, they'll be the 3rd and 4th seed. We're not sure what's going to happen from there, but that'll take us into nearly round 2. We're going to have a bit of a tiebreaker here. They're both in round 2, but that will decide their seeding in round 2. So we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back for the tiebreaker between Jarrett May and Trey Keels. Hello and welcome back to the Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. It's the 2022 season edition of the Derby. We have our 4 hitters slated for round 2. It'll be Rylan Brown, Jeremiah Boyd, Jarrett May, and Trey Keels all moving on. It's Rylan Brown is the 1st seed in round 2. Jeremiah Boyd is the 2nd seed. We're about to see Trey Keels and Jarrett May do a swing off here for the 3rd and 4th seeds, because remember, this 2nd round is seeded for the top 4 guys, but those are our top 4.
Yeah, and it should be a nice little appetizer for what's to come in the semifinal round. You know, Rylan Brown put on a show in the 1st round with 8 home runs. He's the #1 seed. The kid out of the Suffolk Voyagers only has 2 all year long. Quite the surprise. Jarrett May had to fight for his life to stay alive, and now he's going to get another opportunity here to see what he can do, and it's up to him what seed he gets now. So it can be a disadvantage for these guys to have to swing again, but it also could be an advantage as well.
So now this is a little bit different here. In this tiebreaker round, they all get 10 swings. We saw everybody get 90 seconds in round 1. So there's the first swing for Keels, and I think it got out of here. I don't see any kids fighting for the ball.
And it's your old school Major League Baseball format. They did this for quite some time where they go off of swings and outs. Now, of course, it's time. So we're kind of getting a little bit of both sides of the home run derby here.
Oh, they're going to slow down. And I think I got Keels at 2 home runs right now. And remember, Jarrett May and Trey Keels both in that 2nd round, but fighting for the seeding right now. Out to the deepest part of the park in left center field. And he got it. He got it. There's 3.
It allows you to kind of keep track when you're doing swings,
exactly. Because you know he wants to know what he's at.
Oh, yeah.
When it's timed, you're going as quick as you can.
Boy, it's a different strategy now at this point.
Oh, 100%.
It completely changes the derby.
And this is the only time tonight where we'll see this. We won't see this for the tiebreakers in round 2 or the championship, because those tiebreakers will be an extra minute. This is the only tiebreaker that has extra swings.
So this is literally the only scenario where we could have gotten this.
Yes. So a lot of fun. It would have been a little bit more intense, too, if it were to knock someone out.
That
but right now,
too, off the scoreboard, just down the left field line.
6 home runs in 10 swings for Trey Keels. That's a good number.
Absolutely.
That's
exactly
a real good number.
You're going to take, if somebody had asked Trey Keels what you would have taken going into that round, I think you would have said, yeah, I'll take 6.
Oh, yeah.
So now Jarrett May, of course, has to hit. Now, what happens if we tie again?
Maybe we go right back to it.
I guess. I don't know. But so Jarrett May essentially has to hit 7 now to be the 3 seed going forward.
Yes. So the 4 seed will take on Rylan Brown in round 2, and the 3 seed will take on Jeremiah Boyd. Those two are locked in. Brown had 8 home runs in round 1. Jeremiah Boyd with 7.
It's one swing.
So there's
right
one
there.
swing for May, no home run.
And actually, I think this format is that one's long gone.
Is it fair? What's the call? I think they called it fair. So it looks to be 1 on the board for Jarrett May.
I do think this format works to Jarrett May's advantage because watching his BP every single day, he very much takes his time and selects his pitch, and you can't do that with a time format. This you absolutely can. That ball's crushed.
Look at those kids
Off
in
of
left
school
field.
and left center field.
They haven't learned yet that sometimes you just got to stare and watch a Jarrett May home run. I think
another one. If it stays fair,
it's a little more fun when you admire it.
ball's foul, I believe. I know I can see a little bit more around than you can.
Yes, you
so I'm gonna
can.
help you out.
I'm trying to figure out who's the umpire here. I know we've got a couple of guys down there, as I think may have mathematically just missed out because it doesn't look like he's taken 10 swings.
The other thing is, it really, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't exactly matter what seed you are because you throw out everything you did in the round past out the window.
Exactly.
So Jarrett, for him, it's almost like, I don't care. Let's walk off. Let's advance. We're okay as the 4 seed, and that may have been his thinking there.
And for Jarrett, he just got some extra swings in. He was in the round no matter what, so maybe it could either work one of 2 ways. It could either tire him out, or he could be a little more locked in now that he's gotten some extra swings. So now I believe we'll go with the 1 versus 4 matchup to begin things here in the second round. It'll be Rylan Brown and Jarrett May. Carter, you'll stay right on with me here for the first matchup here in round number 2.
A lot of moving around today. We're in the broadcast booth. We're on the field trying to film what these guys can do. We're interacting with the guys in the dugout. So, hey, that's what it's about, right? Having a lot of fun at the home run derby.
Yes, and I want to give a lot of credit.
Ate some donuts?
Yeah, did you get some donuts yet?
Well, I didn't get some for myself. But we did have a couple guys that went to the beach today from Tarboro that are just kind of chilling in the dugout, and they bought some donuts, and I happily took a couple. So cinnamon sugar.
It's fantastic. Dude, you know what I just realized? You talk about the dugout. Are they split up right now already with what they'll be for the North versus South? The Edenton Steamers and the Tarboro River Bandits out in the home dugout here at Historic Hicks Field. They represent the South team tomorrow in the All-Star game, and the 4 teams from Virginia over in the road dugout at Edenton.
And down there, they're not even calling them the North versus South. They're calling them whatever they are versus the Virginia team. So if you want to look at it like that, go for it, you know? So, yes, the Steamers and the Bandits are down in the third base dugout, and the other 4 teams are in the first base dugout. Here's where the stakes are high, though, once again. The swing off, the stakes weren't exactly high because it wasn't, oh, am I moving on? It was, what seed am I going to get? So this is when the pressure kicks back in. And Jarrett May, you know, he's good under pressure. He looked a little flustered this past round in terms of trying to elevate that ball. So I'm curious to see how he adjusts and how he does. And this is the guy that throws in BP every single day in Grant Crosby, so you've seen him all the time, so it should be interesting for sure.
And now it'll be a little bit different here in round 2. We mentioned it's Jarrett May against Rylan Brown, Brown being the 1 seed, May being the 4th seed here in round 2. These guys get 2 minutes now in this round, so 30 more seconds than they had in round 1. So May, who just hit last in round 1, then he hit last in the tiebreaker. Now he's up first in round 2. A lot all at once for Jarrett May.
Right, exactly, and that's the one thing that works to his disadvantage. He just hit and has to go right back out there, and that could really play into how tired he gets.
Exactly, and now he's going to quickly try and change up his gloves. Remember, no timeouts here in round 2. If you get to the championship, you do get a timeout in your round. That'll be a 3-minute round, so deserving of timeouts. As May crushes one out to left center field. I'm really looking forward to it. I think he's the guy here that'll hit it over the school. I've seen guys hit it onto the school. If anyone's going to hit it over the school in left field, it'd be Jarrett May.
He could. I will say he certainly hits the ball further in a game. And, of course, with the velocity and everything. But it's tough to do in BP and it's tough to do in a home run derby. But I don't know what he's at now. He got a couple. Starting to get under some as well, though.
Jarrett May 3 different times this season I've had to say that's the longest home run I've seen hit this season, and he's done it all 3 times.
I do think last night's was the furthest, though.
Mm-hmm.
Hit off the top of the tree just above the scoreboard at historic Tarboro Municipal Stadium. You're not going to see many balls hit there.
Man, and you predicted that at about 460, right?
That's what they predicted.
Yeah.
They put it into Google Maps.
Hey, man, you're not going to get more efficient than that.
That ball's crushed.
And that's the deepest part of the park.
Oh,
At 385,
the
he hits it
wall.
off the wall, and it comes back in. We'll see if that one hit right there will come back to bite him. As May still having a solid round. Again, a lot of hard hit balls, but less home runs than I think I've normally seen him hit in BP.
Absolutely. And going second, too, if you're Rylan Brown, that also helps you because you know what you need. You can save swings if need be, and it gets your mindset for the next round. So Rylan Brown will have the advantage here, that's for sure.
And now we got to think about Grant Crosby, too. We're talking about Jarrett getting tired with all these swings. Coach Crosby just threw a ton of balls. I guess he's a little bit used to it with
Probably.
BP, but it's a lot of pressure on him as well.
7 home runs there, so a pretty
That's
good round for
That's
Jarrett
a good
May.
round.
Again, remember, it's 2 minutes, so a little bit different than the round that we just finished up. But he's in good shape here. It's going to take a good round from Rylan Brown. Of course, he hit 8 with 1 minute and 30 seconds, so it should be interesting to see how he does here.
Exactly. It's a good point. Brown led that first round with 8. He's the number 1 seed. May had 6 in round 1 with 1 minute and 30 seconds. He goes for 7 here in round 2 with 2 minutes, not 20 minutes. Rylan Brown up to the plate. Hayden Bandel, the Virginia broadcaster, behind the plate. As Travis Hamrick, one of the Steamers relievers, is out catching now.
Suited up.
We've seen him and Jared Beebe, another pitcher/catcher, 2-way guy is Jared Beebe. He's been out there. I told Hayden, I don't think I've told you yet, assistant coach Ashton Roy texted the group chat before the Derby, said, we need catchers. Who's going to step up? And that's how those 2 guys
Why
came
not?
out
Have
tonight.
some fun with it, right?
Exactly. And I
Get to
think
come out here, you get the best view in the house, right?
the Steamers, I believe, seem like the most represented team, and then Tarboro, I think, is second most represented. Obviously, this is in Edenton, so you'd expect the
Right.
Steamers to be the most
How
represented
many
here tonight.
All-Stars did the
14
Steamers have?
for the Steamers,
13
then
for the River Bandits.
13 for
There we go.
Tarboro,
Okay.
yes. So Rylan Brown, a lot of pressure as Jarrett May has put 7 on the board here in round 2. A lot of fun, Carter. We've been up here for a while together. It's been going great. It's a lot of fun just to reflect having you and Hayden here at the same time. Obviously, we spend a lot of time together when each of us travel on the road to our games. So it's a lot of fun to kind of be on the same side here. It's a lot of fun.
For 2 days, right? And then right back at it on Monday for both of us. But
Back
yeah,
at it again.
Rylan Brown, how about this kid? He's probably the surprise of the Derby so far. Hit the most in round 1 with 8. Only has 2 home runs all year long. He's a .324 hitter. But all of a sudden, he's making some noise here, and
He is.
he's going to potentially have something to say about who wins this Derby.
Trying to put on for the Suffolk Voyagers. He just put one out to center. Now trying to pull one. Almost got it into that left field corner. But a couple already here for Brown.
That one may have a shot to center field. Oh, off the roof out there, just beyond
Man.
the 350 sign, and that one's going to be gone as well.
He's heating up now.
He's heating up
Rylan
for
Brown
sure.
is in a
There's
rhythm out to
another
that
one.
teal monster. A couple more homers for Brown.
Oh,
There's
boy.
another one.
Rylan Brown has caught heat. He's in that rhythm now. Oh, boy.
Man, this guy
That's 5 in a row, I think.
is on some sort of fire as he finally gets one. That one came back. Rylan Brown trying to put on a show. And he was nearly, Hayden actually brought Rylan up here when Hayden came on for group 2, but that was Rylan's group. So I said, Rylan, you got to head back down. We don't want to take you out of your rhythm. And he stayed in his rhythm with 8. He walks up. He's still got some time left.
I think he's got 8.
And,
So Rylan
oh, there
Brown
it is.
will upset Jarrett May.
Wow.
He's going to advance to the championship round. So neither of our picks made it
Wow.
past the semifinals.
Wow, it's surprising, but it shows you a whole different animal here in this Derby. And
Absolutely.
that's going to wrap up the first matchup here in round 2. We're about to have the 2 versus 3 seed matchup between Jeremiah Boyd and Trey Keels. Carter, thank you so much for
Hey,
joining me here in round
It's
2.
been an absolute pleasure. It's
Thank
been an
you
absolute
so much.
pleasure. We will see you Monday right back here. I'll be right back outside again.
Yes,
So
sir. All right, it was
I
great
enjoyed my
seeing
time
you.
in the AC.
Yes, sir. We will be right back here with round 2. Hello and welcome back to the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. We're in the semifinal round. Jeremiah Boyd about to take on Trey Keels, but I've got a couple of guests up here, Aidan Feather and Hayden Bandel. Aidan, you just competed. You hit four home runs. You were hanging in there for a bit before getting knocked out at the end, but how was the experience as a whole?
Oh, man, I can't complain. It was probably one of the best moments I've had in a while, having my dad throw me the home run derby for me. So I mean, it was just a blessing, man. I can't explain. I can't put into words how everything's working out. And the stars just aligned tonight to allow me to do this, and I'll be forever grateful. So,
well, it was great watching you out there. And Hayden, how is your view from down there as Trey Keels is up to the plate, the third seed here in the semifinal round?
Oh, my view is great. Not Aidan. We got Hayden and Aidan on the broadcast. Let's not get mixed up here. But a lot of guys down there, they just look so tired. Like they're sweating. It's a humid day. Like Aidan, from your perspective, you were actually in it. Were you tired just from even that minute 30? It doesn't sound like a long time, but
with the heat and everything, yeah, even warming up beforehand, like I was sweating, you know. So, yeah, definitely getting up there and swinging, taking those hacks for a minute and 30, you know, definitely wears you out. So,
you ever participate in an event like this? Like, obviously, you go out to the ballpark sometimes just try to hit home runs, but never something like this official, right?
Yeah, nah, I haven't. I've had, like, you know, back in the day when I was younger on the little fields, having a little home run derby stuff, you know, but nothing like this, man. This is topping it off for me.
So now we got another level here in round two. So Keels and Boyd, they'll get 2 minutes here in round two, and we're halfway through for Trey, where again he had 6 home runs in round one. He gets 30 more seconds here. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good finish because Jeremiah Boyd caught some fire in his round one performance. So it's really about getting into a rhythm. Maybe we'll have a tiebreaker here in round two. You never know.
Who's your guys' favorite right now? Who you got?
Man, I mean, is it cheating to say Rylan Brown, the guy that's already in the final? But I'll go with another steamer. I'll go with Jeremiah Boyd.
Rylan's been hot. Rylan was on a roll.
I can see Jeremiah coming up here and doing some damage.
Yeah. And, you know, he's not one of those guys in BP that we've seen is always hitting home runs, but our assistant coach, Ashton Roy, mentioned, he said when Jeremiah wants to turn it on, he can turn it on, and we saw it in round one.
Oh, yeah.
So the final 5 seconds now for Trey Keels, trying to get a couple more swings in. His last swing hits him. So that'll do it for Trey Keels, the third seed here in round two. We'll get a final count and give Jeremiah Boyd a number to beat. The winner moving on to the final. 5 home runs for Trey Keels. So Jeremiah Boyd, 5 to tie, 6 to move on to the championship to face Rylan Brown. Man, it's been a lot of fun. This is the first night of the All-Star festivities. We got the All-Star game itself tomorrow here in Edenton, the North versus South. Aidan, you think that's going to be a lot of fun, the North versus the South, a little rivalry there?
Yeah. It's going to be a great time always here at Edenton, North Carolina, man. It's always a good time here.
Yeah, it's funny. I told Luke earlier, I put it out on my Twitter too. The only time that I've been to North Carolina has been for baseball games. This is the first time that I'm not here for a baseball game. It's for a home run derby.
Still counts.
That's awesome.
Still counts a little bit, Hayden. You're a baseball guy.
Yeah, what can I say?
So now we'll have another teammate out here throwing, Blake Gibson on the mound from the Steamers, throwing to Jeremiah Boyd. It was one of a few guys who had their teammates throwing here in Edenton. So Jeremiah again has to beat 5. And Aidan, I asked a couple of guys this earlier. In a derby style like this, would you rather be hitting at the beginning and not know the numbers you have to beat, or at the end where you're aiming for a specific number?
Honestly, to answer your question, I'll say go first because I can, you know, do my thing, get it out of the way, and then have other people compete to beat my record. But, you know.
So you want to apply the pressure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just happy I was able to be in it, you know? Like, it don't matter to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad I'm here, glad I got this opportunity, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a good group. Only 2 guys from each team, so you definitely earned it to be in this spot tonight as we're nearly winding the night down. The 2 minutes has started for Jeremiah Boyd. I think at this point he's the home favorite with this crowd here in Edenton.
It must have been awesome having your dad out there. Like, when you
yeah.
first knew that you were going to participate in it, did you know right away? My dad's going to me?
Oh yeah, I had to, like, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I got to do that. Especially with my dad, it's just mandatory. I didn't care how many home runs I hit. I just wanted him to have fun with me, so that's all that matters.
You think he felt a little extra pressure too? Because he knows you've got pressure, but he wants to throw you strikes.
I was talking to him after the round. He was like, yeah, I was a little nervous. I was like, so was I, man, so was I. But yeah, I mean, this is like my first home run derby back since redshirting my freshman year of college. So
Wow.
definitely new experiences and building that, trust in myself to be able to come out here and
Yeah.
so.
A lot of that in baseball is just about mentally being right. Like, because it's such a slow-paced game where you can think too much when you're in the box or even just out in the field.
Definitely.
Man, Jeremiah Boyd's heating up now for the Steamers. He's got a couple over that teal monster, and he just passed Trey Keels, his 6th home run here in round 2. So Jeremiah Boyd of the Edenton Steamers will move on to the championship. A lot of fun. So Boyd, the top 2 seeds, Rylan Brown is the 1 seed, Jeremiah Boyd is the 2 seed. They're moving on to the championship of the Home Run Derby here at historic Hicks Field. We'll take a quick break before the championship round. Aidan, thank you so much for joining me. Hayden, thank you as well. So we will be right back with the championship here in the PCL Home Run Derby. Hello and welcome back to the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. We are set for the final round. It is the Edenton Steamers' Jeremiah Boyd taking on Rylan Brown of the Suffolk Voyagers. Now I'm with Hayden Bandel once again. Hayden, thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir.
These guys now get 3 minutes per round, I guess.
Yeah.
They each have this final round.
The championship
The
round.
longest of any time.
But Luke, they do have a timeout to use as Boyd.
They do have a
takes the first
timeout.
pitch over.
So Boyd's at least at
And the
1.
second. I believe Boyd is at 2 right now.
Right now we've got Jeremiah Boyd at 2, 3 minutes, and now he's got to think about strategically when he's going to use that timeout.
Yeah.
I went down there and talked to him, and he told me his number that he's aiming for is 10.
Okay.
With 3 minutes. We know he had 7 in round 1, 6 in round 2, but with that extra time, he's aiming for 10 with the timeout where he can relax if he gets out of a rhythm.
And his opponent, Rylan Brown, hit 8 home runs in that minute and 30 seconds in the first round, and then he walked off Jeremiah. He didn't even need the whole 2 minutes to hit 8 home runs. So he has a total of 16.
And Jeremiah looks like whenever he gets into a rhythm, he's just unstoppable. He did that in both round 1 and 2. Now Blake Gibson on the mound, a lot of pressure on him in the championship.
Yeah.
Got to get some strikes across. And Jeremiah is going to call his first timeout. So we don't know what his total is at right now.
I think it's at least 3. It could be more.
He was on a good stretch. He's got 5 right now. And we're not sure how much time is remaining for Jeremiah, but he did use his first time out here in the championship round.
It felt pretty early.
Yeah, and 5 is a good number to have at this point.
Yeah. So it started with 3 minutes.
5 seconds left.
So Jeremiah still a little bit of time to go. As we're going to have a new voice here on the broadcast. Nate Paulson, outfielder and an all-star for the Edenton Steamers, is joining us here for the championship. Nate, thanks for coming up here.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so have you liked what you've seen so far? It's a lot of fun. Seems like a ton of Steamers down there in the dugout.
Definitely. We got all the guys down there cheering Jerry on. You know, we'll see what he does right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. My pick for this derby was Tanner Thatch. His was Jarrett May, and neither of them made it past the second round. So,
But don't forget, I did say Rylan Brown. Rylan Brown was a bit of a sleeper.
Well, Hayden, you can't pick everyone in the derby.
Well,
You're right.
But Jeremiah back underway here. And Nate, I was talking about earlier that Ashton Roy, assistant coach for the Steamers, mentioned that when Jeremiah wants to turn it on, he can. And now he's switching his gloves or putting on his gloves.
Strapping.
Yeah, trying to get a little reset, I think, going right now. I think you hit that one out right there. Another one.
Now, Nate, you didn't participate in the little derby to get into the derby. You're up there on home runs for the Steamers, but I think you told me you don't think of yourself as a home run guy.
Nah, I mean, I'll pop one out every now and then, but I think stuff like this, you know, I kind of messed up my swing. I want to stay where I'm at right now, you know, feel a little bit good.
Did you consider catching behind the plate tonight?
Absolutely not. No shot.
Jared Beebe and Travis Hamrick out there for the Steamers, who were supplying their own catchers tonight. Neither of
Another
them a
home run for
catcher
Boyd.
this season. As Jeremiah is just unleashing over that teal monster in left field.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm worried about these little kids over here.
That's what I've been saying, man.
Yeah, they're trying to catch them.
It looks like we've lost a couple since the start. There were a lot more.
Yeah, they get a little scared right now.
When you've got the 2 guys that are leading in home runs, you know those are the guys that hit the balls the hardest.
Oh, definitely, absolutely.
I'm going right back to that wall. I'm getting out of there. We got a kid in right field just in case Jeremiah goes the opposite way.
You never know.
Poke a single out there.
So Boyd's definitely putting pressure on Brown. Nate, would you rather go first and try and apply pressure? We've asked a lot of guys this. Or would you rather go second and know the number that you need to hit?
I think definitely first, you know, put up more pressure on the second guy. He's going to be feeling a little bit more antsy when he goes up there. I think going first would definitely be the key to go right here.
So that does it for Jeremiah Boyd. 15 for Jeremiah Boyd. He added 10 after his timeout. An unbelievable showing for Boyd. And remember, the Steamers had a catcher win the Derby last season. Josh Pernetti won the Home Run Derby in 2021. So they're trying to go back-to-back, at the catcher position. Jeremiah representing the team well here in 2022. So Rylan Brown of the Suffolk Voyagers will be out there. He needs to get 15 to tie Jeremiah and 16 to win the Derby here in 2022.
So he's going to need the exact amount of home runs he hit in the first 2 rounds.
Yes.
To top Boyd in just this championship round.
Had 8 in each of the first and second rounds. And Nate, obviously, Jeremiah, your teammate, sure you're pulling for him there. But now, remember the All-Star game tomorrow, the North versus the South, a little bit of a rivalry. Are you rooting for your South team over the North here in this Home Run Derby?
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, you gotta root with the South guys. You can't go with the North guys. I saw him swing just the last round. He got a real good swing. We'll see what he does right here. See if he keeps the energy up though.
And he stopped short. He passed Jarrett May. He didn't even get to use his whole 2 minutes. So Rylan could have gotten a lot higher than the 8 he hit. So Rylan Brown out here with Jared Beebe behind the plate. A whole lot of pressure with the final hitter in our Home Run Derby tonight. Remember, the All-Star game will be tomorrow night here at Historic Hicks Field at 7 p.m. The North versus the South. The 4 teams from Virginia taking on Edenton and Tarboro in that game. Blake Gibson pitching tonight. He did a great job representing Jeremiah Boyd and the Steamers in this Derby.
Now, who did Thatch have thrown to him? I missed.
So he had his uncle, was also his head coach at Perquimans.
Okay.
So someone that he's had a lot, yeah.
Get a guy up there, definitely. No, I'm with you.
Do you have any idea who you would have picked if you were in this tonight?
I probably would have gone with what Jerry did and go Gibby. I like the way he's throwing right now. He's looking good up there.
Yeah, I think he did a good job out there, Blake.
Absolutely.
A lot of pressure. We were talking about the hitters have a lot of pressure, but the pitchers, you don't want to be the reason your hitter messes up.
That's right. You got to put in that spot every time.
Man. And I guess it's the same sort of thing. When you get into a rhythm throwing, it's probably the same when you start to get into a rhythm as a hitter.
Absolutely.
So North versus South tomorrow. Is there a favorite team from the North that you like to play specifically?
Oh, I think I like to play Greenbrier a lot.
Greenbrier.
I feel like a lot of their guys have some good arms. We feel like we usually see a pretty good pitcher on the mound most of the time. It makes us better and everything, and a little bit of a better game going on right there.
Yeah, they definitely try and throw their best arms around you. Their last 2 games, pitching-wise, they allowed 1 hit in the first 8 innings against Tarboro. That came on the first pitch, thrown by Henry Swirda. And then the next game against Rylan Brown's Voyagers, 8 scoreless innings, but then the Voyagers scored 5 in the top of the 9th.
So Brown out here trying to keep that momentum going for the Voyagers. Once again, Luke Melive, the voice of the Steamers, alongside Hayden Bandel, the voice of the Virginia teams in the PCL, and Nate Paulson, the all-star from the Edenton Steamers, as we wind down the Home Run Derby here at Historic Hicks Field. Rylan Brown, once again, needs 16 in this 3-minute championship round to win the Home Run Derby. He'll get a timeout whenever he wants it here in this 3-minute round.
I think he's getting hot right now. There's a time in that last round where he hit 3 pitches, they were all gone.
And he led the way. He led the way in round 1 with 8, also in round 2 with 8. So he's hit the most collective home runs from the guys with 2 rounds under their belts. But all that resets here in that championship round. As Brown looks like he's starting to heat up. Hooks that one gone in between the Teal Monster and the left field foul pole. He might have found the sweet spot out there.
Yeah.
As Rylan will now take his timeout. We'll see what his count is. 151 on the clock for Brown. We'll get his count here in a moment. Jeremiah Boyd started the championship with 15 home runs, and Brown, just like Boyd, is at 5 home runs at the time of his timeout. Jeremiah then hit 10 after the timeout.
I wonder if Rylan did that on purpose. Once, because he saw Jeremiah get the 5, call timeout. I don't know if he was thinking the same thing. Hey, let me get my 5, call the timeout, and then double that.
10's a lot, though. 10's a lot.
It is a lot.
A little less than 2 minutes. That's a lot of it. You got to keep your energy up right here. We'll see.
Because you'd have to think he probably got a bit tired. I mean, that was a minute and 9 seconds straight, and now he's got to double that here without the timeout remaining.
Rylan was confident he was going to win, he told me. He said, I promise you guys that he was going to come on the broadcast. He hasn't yet. He said when he wins, he'll hop on, not if.
Well, yeah, you were going to bring him on for Group 2. That was his group.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
I didn't want him to miss his swings, and thankfully he didn't. He's out there now, and looks like he got a hold of one right away out of the timeout. But now here's where the pressure really sets in.
Yeah.
Needs to get 10 here in his final 2 minutes. He was at 5 right before his timeout. Man, there's a lot of guys with great swings for doubles in this derby, but
absolutely.
A lot of really well hit balls. Got to get it over the fence.
Struggling a bit.
Hey, he's slowing down a bit here at the end. Jeremiah Boyd is in the lead as Brown trying to have one last big run of it.
Definitely looks a little tired. You can see the swing slowing down just a little bit, man.
Yeah, the bat speed has definitely decreased.
There's just nothing that matches this. Even in BP, you get a break after a few swings. I mean, right now you were going for 3 straight minutes, swinging as hard as you can.
1 minute break, that's it. That's hard to do.
So time winding down for Rylan Brown. He took his time out at just under 2 minutes remaining, and he had 5 home runs at that time.
Probably sitting around 10 right here, I'd say.
There's another one, and there's back-to-back.
That one's going to be close out there. That one hits off the top of the wall. Remember that 20-foot wall out there.
That one smoked.
Does Brown have enough left in him? 15 seconds left for Rylan Brown, trying to catch Jeremiah Boyd in the championship of the Home Run Derby. He is gassed. A couple more swings. The last swing for Brown. Looks like it's going to fall just short. We'll get the count in a minute.
I got to say, I think Jerry had that.
I think Jeremiah Boyd got it.
Yeah, you see him out there right now. There we go.
The final count.
Players.
12.
The final count for Rylan Brown is 12, meaning that Jeremiah Boyd of the Edenton Steamers has won the 2022 Premier Collegiate League Home Run Derby. A fan favorite here in Edenton, Jeremiah gets the ice bucket to celebrate the victory.
Congratulations, Jeremiah.
A great night for Jeremiah Boyd. Was the second hitter of the night, was the second seed after round 1, and he finishes off strong. And I think we might try and get him up here for a little bit, maybe a post-game interview on the field as well. But a great congratulations to Jeremiah Boyd. So that'll wrap up the Derby itself. Don't go anywhere. We'll try and get Jeremiah up here for a post-game interview. But once again, thank you to Nate Paulson, the All-Star from the Steamers, for joining me. Hayden Bandel, the another announcer in the Premier Collegiate League. I'm Luke Milai. That'll do it for the Home Run Derbies. Jeremiah Boyd wins it in the championship over Rylan Brown. Welcome back to Historic Hicks Field, where the Home Run Derby has wrapped up here in Edenton. Jeremiah Boyd wins it with 15 home runs in the championship round. His interview will be on Twitter later tonight. We will get that on social media, but he's still out there celebrating and being congratulated by his teammates. 12 participants entered the Derby tonight at 7 p.m., and Jeremiah Boyd is the one that comes out on top. Remember to tune in tomorrow night right here on the Edenton Steamers YouTube channel for the All-Star game of the Premier Collegiate League at 7 p.m. It'll be the North versus the South being the Tarboro River Bandits and the Edenton Steamers, the North being the Greenbrier Knights, the Virginia Beach Sea Dogs, the Norfolk Redbirds, and the Suffolk Voyagers. So once again, I'm Luke Mealy. That'll do it for me tonight here at the Home Run Derby. Thank you so much to everyone who watched, and we'll see you tomorrow night.